It is now -5 degrees Celsius, and yesterday was probably the coldest Christmas ever here in Vancouver. And on this occasion, we're going to talk about science fictions that came true in 2021. Not in terms of technology, but in terms of extreme weather. Number 1. Snowpiercer. Adapted into a movie by Bong Joon-ho and a TV series now on Netflix, the story is set 10 years later, where an attempt to stop global warming backfired. By spraying particles into the stratosphere to reflect sunlight, scientists aimed to cool the planet, but unfortunately, they froze the planet instead. Although this solar geoengineering technology is actually real, and is even proposed to begin testing by launching a high-altitude balloon next year, in February this year, extreme cold already hit the planet. The cold wave in North America not only broke temperature records in decades and even a century, it also became the costliest winter storm on record, as well as the costliest natural disaster ever in US history, costing almost $200 billion in damages. While people are protesting against solar geoengineering both in the story and in real life, I'm pretty sure that research will continue as global warming becomes more and more severe. After talking about extreme cold, it is time to talk about extreme heat. Number 2. Geostorm. This movie features many extreme weather events, but the most memorable one must be the heat wave that hit my neighborhood in Hong Kong. Although instantly frying eggs on the road is a bit exaggerated, given asphalt and concrete are poor conductors of heat, and it can take up to 70 degrees Celsius to cook an egg. In 2021, Hong Kong made history by having the hottest March, May, and September on record. Although it is far from the 57 degrees Celsius in the movie, heat wave hit again in North America, where British Columbia measured 49.6 degrees Celsius in June, which is the highest temperature ever recorded in Canada. Described as a 1-in-1,000-year event, the heat wave was made 150 times more likely by climate change caused by humans. Extreme heat also hit Russia, where Moscow reached 34.7 degrees Celsius, which is the highest temperature in June for 120 years. Speaking of Russia, here comes the third movie. Number 3. Огонь, which is Russian, which means fire. Although it is not a science fiction, but rather an action drama that features the Russian firefighters, the wildfires this year in Siberia and Far East are definitely worth mentioning because they are unprecedented but lack media coverage as opposed to the Australian and Californian wildfires in 2020. Destroying more forests than all other wildfires combined across the world, the Russian wildfires in 2021 is affecting the globe, as smoke reached even the North Pole for the first time in recorded history. While the forest fires release massive amounts of carbon, the Russian firefighters now face another challenge, which is the zombie fires that can burn deep in the soil even at -60 degrees Celsius. Although they do not seem to be a problem, they are actually much worse than the rolling flames because they can melt the permafrost, which we strive to protect in the Pleistocene Park. Releasing 100 times more carbon, zombie fires also release methane, which can be 80 times more efficient than carbon dioxide in warming our atmosphere. Number 4. Dune. On the Arrakis, water is scarce and deserts dominate the surface of the planet. Although some may not find any resemblance as heavy rains flooded their countries, many people from other parts of the world are suffering from extreme drought this year, with the most notable one being the Californian drought that is suggested to be the worst in 1,200 years.
This is kind of what I imagine walking on the surface of Mars might look like.
In June this year, the United Nations warned that drought could be the next pandemic with no vaccine to cure. While desertification is widespreading as the worst sandstorm in a decade hit Mongolia and China, we know very well that our climate is getting out of control. Extreme temperatures, fires, droughts will just become more and more common. And before you know it, Earth will become an alien planet with harsh environments we are no longer familiar with. And I'll be here sadly making another YouTube video titled, Could You Survive on Earth?